Andre Wade was just released. Once again, trying to pick up where I left off earlier. Like I was saying, I had something to come back with. Uh, I wanted to just say some things, explain some things, what's taking place in my life throughout my institutional experience. Uh, I remember when Just Release came to my mindset that I had the idea of wanting to come up with something like Just Release. And when I came up with it, I wanted to come up with Just Release Ministries. And that's what I had on my mind for so long while I was incarcerated. Well, like I say, when we're incarcerated, we have so many dreams that we want to live out once we are given an opportunity to be free. When you done did 20 years, 15 years and all that in that nature, it just seems like you're never going to get out. But that's how I felt when I was living the way I was living inside the institution before I gave all that up. And I just gave myself to God. I allowed God to just have his way with me. And it was because of God, the way I feel, that I was given my freedom because, like I say, I had like 13 set-offs every time I went in front of the parole board, and I was able to explain myself, but I was given a 2-year set-off, a 3-year set-off, here and there. They were steady giving them to me. They were steady giving them to me to the point where I just felt like they weren't going to let me go because, they don't have to let you go, even though they say parole is a privilege, that they don't have to let you go. And what they mean by that, when they say it's a privilege, you have to have a certain standard of behavior when you come in front of them because it is a privilege. And that's what they law say. That's why I always say that they always expressing what they law say, but when it's time for them to follow their own laws, they don't want to follow them. Parole is a privilege. Then they had the nerve to tell you, oh, we don't rehabilitate no more in prison. See, if you in prison, then you have to rehabilitate yourself, even in society. If you want to learn something, if you have to go to a trade and take up a trade or anything in that nature, you have to learn it yourself, basically. And I always tell people when they take up something that you like to do. That way you'll learn it. That's why I took up cooking and meat cutting, because that's something I like to do. So it was easy for me to learn that, more so than it was easy for me to learn automotive repair, which I took up. And don't know nothing. I don't think I know how to do is change a battery and maybe change the brakes. I don't know nothing about the engine, but I owe them people $1,600. Ain't that something? Things that we do, the choices that we make, it don't even pay off. It don't even pay off. So we have to watch what we do, because the only reason why I took up the college trade was to get on a certain unit. And that's what people do when you want to get closer to the house or get on a certain unit. You look up and see what the trade is that's got that unit and only that unit, and you take that trade up that'll send you to that facility. That's what we do in prison. But Just Release has always been something I wanted to do. I wanted to name my ministry because I'm a ordained minister. I have ordained license. That's why I talk about God a lot, because I love God, and I just feel like if anything is going to come out of anything good, we have to give it to God, because God ain't going to give us nothing but something good out of anything that we do in life. And that's relationships, jobs, family. We have to have God in our life. So I think about what took place in my life, the 20-something years that I had done. And I tried not to be institutionalized. Like I say, in prison we call it institutionalized, but in society it's called program. And that's what I didn't want to be, because I lost a lot of friends to the institutional way. Some of them messing with punks, caught AIDS. And I used to tell one of my partners, I say, man, you can't be messing with all them punks. I say, man, you gonna mess around and catch AIDS. And you know what his response was? Well, Dre, I gotta die some way. And that's the mindset that these people want you to have in that institution. They want you to kill yourself. So you know what they done? They done allowed the homosexuals to be able to live in population with you. Homosexual with titties. With titties. Living in a cell with you. And you know them homosexuals, they'll turn a so-called real man out. They'll turn them out. Walking around the cell with panties on and makeup on and a bra. You don't allow that. Like I say, I respect all punks. But if they place one in my cell, he couldn't walk around that like that. He wasn't baby doll. He was whoever he was to me. He's not a wife, or some people call him. My wife, that's my wife. And I'm going to show you how cold that is. They had a guy, and he's homosexual. And they had been together for a long time because they had been locked up a long time on East Ham. They was the reason why they took steel dustpans out of the system. Yeah, we used to have steel dustpans, big old heavy steel dustpan. And they stayed on a dorm. There was like one dorm at the bottom and one dorm at the top. One of the guys stayed upstairs. The homosexual and his man stayed downstairs. They went upstairs and beat the man down almost to death with the dustpan. Beat him down. I'm talking about beat him down. They had to life flight him. The homosexual and his man going down like Vikings. Hey, I tell you, you can't disrespect them punks. You can't disrespect them punks, especially if they have a husband. Because them husbands would kill you behind them punks. They will kill you. I ain't lying. They have some serious relationships in there. And I had told you I had been to prison twice before I went this third time. I had did 3 months the first time on Ferguson. I did 5 months the second time on Hackleberry. So my third time they sent me to East Ham. I was like, East Ham? They killing over there. And that was a dangerous place. That's why I learned how to do time. See, we get in these places just like if you in the streets and you doing what you do. If you go somewhere in a territory that's unknown, you have to first figure out what's going on with the people around there before you can just jump out there and act the way you act. Especially if you're from another city or another state. And it's the same way in prison. You go on a block, you got to first figure it out, not just mingle. Get into the rhythm. Oh man, you're going to get your booty taken. Something going to happen to you that ain't right. It'll be life flighting you or sending you to see it because you just try to jump in the mix. That's how people do that don't know how to do time. You don't just jump in there and try to find no friend. Friend is hard to hey, for me, I am my friend. I was my friend until friendship was gained to me. It's not something freely that I give, my friendship. You got to gain my friendship, especially when I was in them walls of confinement. I ain't just jump out there, because there's so many games that them men play inside there that you wouldn't believe. But before just release is over with, I'm going to give you all the game that them people play in there. Because some of y'all might be heading that way. And I want you to have a heads up. I want you to have a heads up because whatever I tell you, whatever I say, it's real deal Holyfield. Just release with Andre Wade. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all.